It is 2 a.m., 24th of June, 2020. 4 or 5 days ago, a video has been uploaded by one Mr. Tariq Fateh, a Canadian national who was suggested to Islamic Republic of Pakistan not to be a concubine of People's Republic of China. Instead, he has suggested that Pakistan should extend its hand of friendship towards India. One can pose a question to Mr. Fateh: is it preferable, from your point of view, to be a concubine of India? By the way, where from have you learned this terminology? Is it part of your academic training, or is it part of your some venomous ideology? We have heard about satellite states. All nations who had been regional powers or international powers have satellite states. But India and Pakistan relationship, do you see Pakistan as a satellite state of India in future if this hand is extended towards India? Is it possible that a country where RSS ideology is recently dominating, and RSS within its work plan has a map which includes Pakistan as part of India? Do you think a country which has a usurpation plan can be made a friend by a nation which is to be usurped? Perhaps you wish Pakistan to be a concubine of India instead, because that's what you have suggested very often, that perhaps Indian Muslims have inclination towards Arabian countries in the Middle East, and they take inspiration from there. Even their names are Arabic, and if they are true loyal Indians, they must change their names to something coming from Indian tradition of Mahabharata or Ramayana. Perhaps you would suggest Pakistanis soon that they should also think of changing their names to Mahabharata tradition, because you think this tradition is truly Indian. One can wonder, is it your ignorance or again your venom? Because these names of Ramayana and Mahabharata tradition came to India only with these migrants whom you call Aryans, or these Indo-European migrations which took place perhaps sometimes 5,000-6,000 years ago. And these migrants pushed back these Dravidians towards Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. Those Tamils perhaps did not have these names in the original tradition. It's a misconception or not that Muslim names are coming from the inspiring history of the conquerors. Your name, for example, you think Tariq is based on the name of the conqueror of Spain, Tariq bin Ziyad. You really think that villagers in India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, 80% people of the subcontinent, do know the history of Tariq bin Ziyad? They don't know even. They give their children the name Tariq because it comes from the Quran. It sounds beautiful to them, and they believe that Quranic tradition can help them in salvation in hereafter. Why you insist so much upon changing of a name of a Muslim, which should be given from a book that they don't even believe in? And if a name is not given from a book which they believe is the source of salvation, then most likely from their, you may call it superstition tradition, salvation will not be achieved. Is it humane to impose on some culture, your culture? In which phase of history any Indian Muslim ruler inflicted upon the native nation this formula that they have to by force change their names to the name coming from the Quran, a book that they don't believe in. You also accuse of Indian Muslims of speaking Urdu. You think Urdu is an Arabic or Persian or Turkish based language. You probably have no idea that Urdu and Hindi are only variants of the same language, and both Urdu and Hindi have 99% verbs based on Sanskrit vocabulary. Both have only 20 to 25% words which are loan words from Arabic, Farsi or Turkish. Do you know that Urdu is a lingua franca? You may call it Hindi as well, no problems there. I have personal experience of translating for illegal immigrants to Europe. I have spoken in this language to immigrants coming from Myanmar, Burma, to Tibet, Nepal, all the way down to Punjab, then Gujarat, Afghanistan, north of Pakistan. It's very likely that if you're a Punjabi speaker, you may not understand a single word spoken by a Bengali, and a single word of Pashto understood by a person who speaks Gujarati, but they all can understand, communicate as well in their own way, in Hindi or Urdu, throughout the subcontinent. So Urdu is the greatest lingua franca beside English on planet Earth, and nobody usurped by migrating to Pakistan after 1947, as you claim, the rights of linguistic rights of people of the new country. Is it possible that your entire agenda is based on ignorance, ill intention perhaps as well? Because you suggest to people something which you don't observe by your own. So I leave this very open proposal for you to meditate upon. You accuse Indian Muslims that they don't give their children names of the tradition of the country where they are born. You are absolutely wrong about it, but let's say you are right. Are you loyal towards Canada? If you are, then I suggest from tomorrow you should think of a nice name instead of Tariq. Maybe Derek is a good option, and prove your loyalty to Canadian. You suggest that Indian Muslims look beyond India for inspiration. Trust me, Indian Muslims don't even know the names of the Arabian cities apart from Mecca and Medina. Most of the villages would not even know the name of the capital of Saudi Arabia. But I suggest, to prove your loyalty to Canada, you must disconnect all your connections from India and Pakistan and stop speaking the language, Urdu, Hindi or Punjabi, to prove your loyalty to the country that you live in now. I also suggest, please learn the language of the country that you are living in for so many years. You and Tahir Gora both must learn Canadian English. And to prove your loyalty, stop speaking this Punjabi English that you speak day and night on your television channels. It's a disgrace. And if you can't do it, and I'm sure you cannot do it, then stop insulting Indian Muslims, Pakistani Muslims. I'm not a promoter of any faith, but it hurts me. In 21st century, somebody sitting in Canada comes up with ideas which even from medieval perspectives are outdated. It's a crime against humanity. It's unnatural. And it's unfortunate that people in our age have failed to act upon the morals which are described by the books of philosophy, books of religion, and even UN Charter. Stop committing this crime against humanity is my request. Until next video.